Good afternoon. Hope you guys are great. Glad to be here. We are obviously on a brand new week here, getting ready for Ole Miss, going down to Mississippi to play another SEC night game. We're excited about it. Our guys are working hard, obviously trying to bounce back from a tough loss last week, and we are, it's tough to come in on Sundays after you had an opportunity to win a big game, and we walked away obviously in defeat, but we got our head back up. We're ready to roll.
Clayton, on the 79-yard drive Alabama had to tie the score, did they do something different that maybe got you guys off your heels a little bit?
They didn't do anything different from what they saw on film, maybe a little bit different throughout the game. They were a little bit more pass-heavy. We didn't do a great job of just really adjusting and really getting pressure on the quarterback. He looked a little bit more comfortable there than he did in the first 58 minutes of the football game, however you want to count it. But I have to do a better job of making sure our guys stay aggressive throughout the end of the games, even at the crunch moments like that. But got to give them credit for going down and getting it done.
That last touchdown they had seemed like I don't know, really creative call. What was sort of your mindset going into that? What were you sort of expecting to see, if you don't mind sharing that type of detail?
Well, it was kind of an interesting little situation where the ball was on the 40 after the fumble. Thought they were going to really try and just run it and try and, get it in field goal range and kick it and go home, but they were kind of running the offense. So it was 3rd and 10, wasn't sure if they run or pass, and so they kind of got a hat for a hat on us. And we kind of told the guys if they break the run, let them score to give us a chance. So we didn't want them to kick it with no time left, especially inside the 15-yard line.
Nick Barrett and Monkel Goodwine were just forces against Alabama. Have they been playing like that all season? Was there a certain increased physicality that you saw against Alabama from them?
It was definitely increased. I mean, they're physical dudes. They're big, strong guys, 2 of our biggest and strongest guys on this football team. So to watch them play that kind of dominant fashion was not really a surprise. We've seen those guys. I mean, Nick's been that way since he's been here, but it's nice to see it on a Saturday. You know what I mean? So against a big-time opponent. But that was fun. It kind of got us going. It really got everybody kind of fired up watching those guys make plays and celebrate, and the crowd getting into the game. Obviously, we have a fantastic environment where they see big guys make plays and celebrate, and all the stuff that Monkel was doing, it was turning us up. So I thought they played a major factor in how we played on Saturday.
Clayton, you guys were able to contain a pretty high-flying offense pretty well. Ole Miss got another one. How easy is it as a coach to say, well, you did it here, so you can do it there, especially considering it's probably different offensively?
It's definitely easy to say. You can definitely say it. But obviously, Coach Kiffin's been known for his high-powered offense over the years. So I think it's my 5th time, maybe 4th time going against him. So he's always had an opportunity. He always does a good job of putting points up and plays and making you cover the entire field. So this is a different offense than it was last week. So it's completely different coaching style and all that kind of stuff. But our guys understand the challenge that we have, understand the kind of offense that we're facing, and that offense's mindset and their mentality.
One of the biggest plays in that Alabama game was Vicari's forced fumble, and I think I noticed you brought 2 defensive backs on that blitz right there. When is a good time, or the kind of the pros and cons of sending defensive backs on blitzes, and how the situation in the game kind of dictate an aggressive move like that?
Well, obviously you can't just call those off the hoof. You have to have a good feeling of when that's going to happen based off their look, and our players got to do a great job of executing what we had, basically how we had that dialed up, and we was waiting on a certain situation, and it happened, and Vicari did a great job of rushing and beating the blocker, and then Sack calls fumble with the hand, and it was a good hand, at least. You could tell it was a good hand, but definitely proud of how they all executed, most of the calls throughout Saturday night, and that was just one of them.
Coming off a game where you forced 5 3-and-outs, did you see a more confident defense, I guess, coming into this week of practice?
Meaning just overall, we definitely, we sit in here on Sundays and guys are hurt, so it's the confidence should build up as we go out throughout the week, as we get a good feel for Ole Miss. But they have a lot to keep. They have a lot to be proud of. A lot of teams probably haven't done that to Bama, but they definitely had a little bit of confidence coming out of it. But for the most part, you kind of have to erase it and move on. And you can't celebrate long, you can't dwell long in this league, and then pretty much any league, but definitely not this one. You don't have time to. You have to see the schedule and you're like, oh, okay, got to move on. So you better get going.
How have you seen Ole Miss's offense change since Chambliss got the job? And is there any relation when you're watching them on film to what you see in practice from Lenore's?
I would say it's definitely the offense hasn't changed a little bit. They actually, obviously, he's now the starter. He's a productive quarterback. There are some similarities of what I see every day. Not as big, but definitely the same type player. Can tuck it, can run it, hard to sack, and can throw it, all that good old stuff, really good on the move. Does a good job of managing the offense and being smart with the football and don't take a lot of sacks, get out of sacks. But definitely a challenge for sure.
Secondary really didn't give up a long pass against Alabama and no defensive pass interference at all. What sort of technique were they working with? Like, when you went back and watched on film, were they just doing everything right on every play?
Not everything right. It's tough to get that perfect game going, but I'm definitely proud of how they played the ball down the field. Vicari on the late breakup down the field against Bernard, I ran 40 yards down. I'll get excited about that kind of stuff. I wish we'd have finished a couple more interceptions. I feel like we had one or two in our hands. I was definitely proud. I think that's still is the hardest position to play in football. I coached it for 18 years, and so I just know that's a hard position to play and hard position to officiate. And the rules are pretty much based on how your DBs play, and most of the rules are. But I thought I got very proud of how they played and how competitive they were, and just covering routes and being body to body on most intermediate, short, and long routes. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.